Well, hello, my lovelies. It's Janet Perez with the Painted Saguaro, and I'm coming to you today with Paint Couture Paints to show you how I created a really pretty French look on this nightstand. It may look familiar to you because I created its partner a couple months ago on the Paint Couture page, but I had so many people ask me how I made this look. I wanted to share it with you here. So I created the second one and I videoed it for y'all. So I started off by creating a mix of salt wash with angelic, and I covered the entire piece with that. And now I'm using pitch black, which is one of our chalk style paints, and I'm covering the outside edge of this entire piece, including the base, with that pitch black. And I am making sure that I get 100% coverage. Now you might ask why I'm laying black over white. And I think I've explained this before. My own personal feeling is I love using a white base underneath pretty much any color. And the reason for that is I feel that I get a truer representation of the colors that I'm laying over a light or white base than if I were to use any other color underneath. So, and I really want these colors to pop. So I want that black to be the truest black I can possibly get. And pitch black, for me, you guys, is the most beautiful true black I have ever experienced in a paint. I have used probably every black from every paint manufacturer out there. And this is the only black I have ever laid my hands on where I haven't had to fight to get any impurities out of it. I haven't had to mix it with top coat in order to get a smooth finish on the final coat. I haven't had to actually add a second or third coat to get full coverage. It's just amazing. So here I am adding the driftwood, which is also a chalky style paint. And I'm putting this in the center because I want that to be the highlight of this piece. And it is a great color. It is just sort of a soft, supple gray. And then I'm going to grab my Mystic Gray, which is a deeper gray and a true, I wouldn't say it's a blue gray. I would say it's more of a, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a very beautiful, I guess it is sort of a bluish gray, but it's a really beautiful gray. It's a true gray in my opinion. And I'm putting that around the outside edge of the driftwood to create that happy medium blend between the black and the driftwood. And I'm going to start stippling these all together to create the perfect blend between the three colors. And I think that these three colors really complement each other absolutely beautifully. So we're just going to keep working these colors together and blend by stippling. I have 3 different paint brushes here that I'm using, one for each color as I blend them together. I'll use that misting bottle by Paint Couture. Occasionally, I'll pull in some black as I need it. I'll use my dry Kling-On brush to sort of help blend the colors without adding more color as I need to do so. And for me, the stippling action when you're blending over texture is the absolute best way to blend colors when you're blending over a textured piece. It just is the easiest way to do it, really, and creates sort of a mottled effect, sort of like what you would get on the background of a oil painting or an acrylic painting, which to me is just a beautiful look and a beautiful feel. And that's the look that I'm going for on here. So I'm just going to continue working this background of this piece until it gets to where I like the blend. So it's kind of a time-consuming process. I mean, it doesn't happen in just a few seconds or a few minutes. I probably worked overall on this piece for about 35 minutes to get the blend exactly where I wanted. Here you can see I'm working on the legs or the feet of this piece and just covering that completely in the black. You want to make sure that you get the underside of those feet. You want to get the underside of the ledge of the scalloped edge of that. And just keep working that blend until you're happy with it. And you as the artist are the one that's going to determine whether you're done or not. Based on, if you remember what the finished nightstand looks like, I'm going to be stenciling over this piece, so it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but of course you want it to look really, really good. So even if you don't stencil over it, you want it to look finished and quality. You always want your pieces to be the best they can be. And speaking of that, you want your paint to be the top quality paint that you can possibly get your hands on. And Paint Couture paint is definitely that. There's no better quality paint out there, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of really great paints out there, but there isn't any that's better than this paint. I can guarantee you that. You can see right there I got a little bit too dark in the center, so I brought some more of the driftwood into the center to kind of lighten that back up. So there's no oops on this. If you do something that you don't like, you just go back in, bring some more paint in, and just keep working it. I'm bringing more of that pitch black into the outside edge to darken it up a little bit. That top drawer is looking pretty good. The bottom drawer looks a little too stark still. And do you see there where I kind of pushed the brush back into the paint? That's because I got a bristle there. If you ever get a bristle in your paint, you want to remove it as quickly as you notice it. And the reason for that is if you let it dry in your paint, it will definitely leave a mark. It'll leave a line in your paint if you pick it out later. If you try to pick it out with your fingers, you will mess up your paint. So if you simply push your paintbrush back into your paint, it will pull that bristle out, and then you can paint back over it and smooth that paint back down while it's still wet and you've averted a disaster or a mess. So that's my little helpful tip for the day. Anyway, I would love to hear how you guys blend and what you guys think of blending. Have you tried it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What's your biggest challenge when you're blending paint? And you know, this is probably one of the easiest types of blends you can attempt because you're blending like colors into one another. You're not blending pink into blue. You're not blending red into green. You're blending monochromatic colors, which is probably the easiest thing you can do. And blending 3 colors is quite easy, as long as they're similar colors. Now you can see there I did cross hatch brush strokes. And the reason I did that was because I just kind of wanted to smooth that out. I'm barely touching the paint with the brush, but I just wanted to smooth out those stippled marks a little bit and kind of blend that paint a different way. And now I'm going back over and removing those brush strokes, but I wanted to do an extra little blend there to kind of smooth things out a tad. And you can see how that affected it. Now I need to go clean up that bottom one. My arm's jiggling like a bowl of jello there, but hey. Good exercise for the arms, you guys. That's all I can tell you. We're almost there. Almost done. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be painting the top. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to be painting around the outside edge of the top, and just do that in a solid black. Here I'm just doing the final finesse touches where I may have gotten a little bit of the lighter colors on the outside edge. So you can see I painted around the outside edge. Now I'm completely spritzing the top with my mister bottle. I poured about a tablespoon of paint into the lid of my pitch black. Not very much at all. It doesn't require much at all. And about a tablespoon of purified water. I don't use tap water ever, because you can get calcium or minerals and stuff in your paint and that will mess it up. You don't want to ever do that. And I'm just doing this paint wash over the top of my piece because I really like the wood grain, but I wanted it to be black because I didn't want it to be a wood tone on a black monochromatic piece. That would kind of destroy the look. And you can see I'm putting it on. It's really wet, kind of sloppy, and that's okay. But what I'm going to do in just a second, after I get this all laid down, is I'm going to go back over the entire thing with nice, long, even brush strokes because I don't want any start-stop marks. I'm going to go back around the ledge and remove any globs of paint. And that's it. Now here I've got this stencil from Jamie Ray Vintage, and I'm using the lightest color that I used on the front, that driftwood color, and I'm stippling with I think it's considered a stencil / chalk paintbrush that I picked up at Hobby Lobby several years ago, and I use it exclusively as a stencil brush. And I'm just stenciling over the front of this very sporadically over the drawers, both drawers, with that driftwood color. I want it to be a really uneven, sporadic stencil job because I want it to look aged. And again, this is a Jamie Ray Vintage stencil. I don't know the name of it, but it's a pretty damask stencil. It's kind of pretty. I use it on drawer sides too. It's a perfect size for that. And then this I poured from a Redesign with Prima mold, and I used the Paint Couture Capital Crafts 2-part resin. The thing I love about this, well, one of the things, it sets up really fast, number one. And number two, you can reshape it by using a heat gun or a hairdryer, and it will mold to whatever shape you need it to after it's hardened and set up. I drilled a hole in it, and that's where my drawer pulls are going to go. I use the Tight Bond, it's called Quick and Thick glue to set it, and to remove that glue that kind of poured over, I just use a Q-tip with a little bit of water on it. I brushed some silver Luxe Metallic over the top of it. Brushed some Luxe Metallic over the edges of the scalloped sides of this piece, and boom, done. We are finished. I sealed the entire piece with some of our Extreme Guard flat top coat, and that's the entire piece, you guys. What do you think? Do you love it? I used the same colors on the sides, obviously, and that's how you create a beautiful look on a piece of furniture. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and maybe make a comment if you liked it, and I'll catch you next time. Give us a follow and join us for another video on the Paint Couture page. Thank you.